This is Stacy Marshall with Printware Magazine.
Matt Vassallo with the RhinestoneWorld.com.
Richard Greaves with ScreenMaking.com.
Brian Walker with RTP Apparel.
This is Peter Walsh with M&R, and you're listening to the Two Regular Guys podcast.
Podcast.
Hosted by Terry Combs.
Terry Combs.
Terry Combs.
And
Aaron Montgomery.
Aaron Montgomery.
Keep on listening.
I don't know if these guys are that regular.
Music by Mike Clark and Bird Room Music. For more information, visit birdroommusic.com.
We sound so international when Peter Walsh is in the intro. Do you ever think that?
We really do. I love that accent too. So.
Yeah, even though he's been in the U.S. for, 40 years. But all right, welcome to the show. It is Friday, August 13th, Friday the 13th, 2021. I'm Terry Combs, and you can find me at terrycombs.com.
And I'm Aaron Montgomery, and you can find me over at oursuccessgroup.com. Today, Terry and I are going to wrap up our conversation about building relationships in a long-distance world. As usual, we go into the show last week going, oh, do we have enough content? And then we get halfway through, and it's like, hey, we're going to have to make this a two-parter. So we're excited to wrap that up. But we're also super excited that in just one moment here, we're going to welcome in a friend of ours, Ray Weiss, who's been with us on the show before, but he's back to talk about the Printing United event coming up and some really cool stuff they've got in the works. And he was giving us a little sneak preview before we started the show here. And wow, they have done a lot of cool stuff. So we're going to have Ray in just 1 second. That show coming up in Orlando. So we'll get all the details on that, the apparel zone, all that. Before we do that, though, Terry, I did want to just make a comment about the day. You said it is Friday the 13th. So those of you that aren't familiar, you probably have heard this before. So tell Kim I'm sorry for telling the same story. But so I was actually born on a Friday the 13th, not this month, but September 13th is when I was born, and it was a Friday. So I always get used to be a voicemail or text message, but now it's a Facebook message from my dad wishing me a happy non-triskaidekaphobia day. So that's not afraid of 13. So
that rolls off the tongue, doesn't it?
It does. I've had to practice over the years. So,
my new novel, Friday the 13th, plays in a very important part. So just to share that with you.
There you go. Do I play an important part?
In a way, you're born on Friday the 13th. One of my main characters was born on Friday the 13th. So there you are.
Yes, I made it. I've made it in life. I feel like I'm in Terry's book. So, well, let's check in with a couple of the regulators here first, and we'll and get this going. So, Gusta checking in from Sweden, and we've got Wade saying good morning, and we have both Jeff and Adam Fuller. Always excited to have Jeff and Adam along. If you guys aren't familiar with Jeff, Jeff is one of the, I guess, co-founders is the best word, of the Embroidery Nerds. They have a show and a Facebook group and all that other stuff. And then Adam is Jeff's son, and Adam is a 10-year-old that has his very own hat business. Really cool.
Oh, very
really
nice.
Cool as a 10-year-old. He comes on to the half later on and asks all sorts of fantastic questions. It's like, wow, this kid's really getting after it. I got to go talk to my 10-year-old and say, hey, get off YouTube, dude. Get to work.
Get to work. Make some money.
Yeah. Just kidding. Just kidding, Lewis. So anyhow,
but if you want to,
yeah, I will help. Kind of what I do. All right. So we've got Martha checking in, Eric in the comments as usual, Cindy, good morning, and then Amanda from Printing United checking in, probably keeping tabs on us, making sure we're
checking up. Yeah.
Just kidding, Amanda. We know you're a regular listener, and we really appreciate it. Virginia, hello, and Mo, welcome in. Todd, Kim says, I haven't heard that before, so you're good, Aaron. All right, good. Now I can't tell it again. Awesome. So lots of people checking in. We really appreciate it. And thank you guys for being here. But Terry, are you ready to bring Ray in and let's talk Printing United?
Absolutely. Let's talk about it. Ray, are you there?
All right. Welcome in, Ray. We appreciate you being back with us. So thanks for being here. And I see you and Terry got your shirt choices coordinated. I would have liked
we call
to have
each
gotten
other.
that call.
First day of school. What are you wearing?
Nice.
All right, Ray. Well, hey, here's the question on everyone's mind. Is everything still a go for Orlando in October?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It is. We're excited about it. I guess so since you asked, I'll just really quick. This is Amanda wanted to make sure I get this correct. So we're
and
closely
she's
monitoring.
listening. So
yes, I know. We're closely monitoring any and all updates regarding COVID. Yep. It's imperative to the Alliance that we support the industry's post-COVID recovery while maintaining a safe environment for all exhibitors and attendees at the expo. So we're excited. We just concluded 2 really incredibly successful in-person events, our Inkjet Summit and Wide Format Summit. They were in Austin, Texas. And attendees were very happy and spoke about their excitement and looking forward to Printing United.
Awesome.
So,
Yeah. I know you guys are doing everything that needs to be done to be safe and all that stuff. So
sure.
we're really excited about being there and getting back in person. And so glad to hear that you guys are doing all that needs to be done. So thank you guys so much for that. So Ray, here's what we really are excited about. Obviously, the entire show is going to be amazing as usual. But we are fortunate enough to get to be right near this apparel zone. Yeah. So we want to get into this apparel zone, talk to our listeners about what they can expect to kind of see live. I know you guys have been working tirelessly to make this thing amazing. So talk to us about that.
Yeah. So look, I have to make sure that I don't bury the lead here though, because really, I'm super excited. We have this passport program where you'll come to the zone, you'll get a passport and go visit some of the sponsors. But what really matters in my mind is what are the prizes that are going to be tied to that. And we've been very fortunate. We got some really generous donations. One is from Mamaki. It's their TS100 1600 die sub roll-to-roll printer. Wow. And this is no joke. It's I think it's a 54-inch printer. Wow. So serious printer, great prize. We're really thankful to Mamaki for that donation. And then Omniprint. They've donated I like to call it their award-winning. I manage our product competition. It's Pinnacle product this year. And we haven't awarded anybody yet, but in the last few years, they've won with their FreeJet 330TX DTG printer that they've donated as a prize. So we're really thankful to both Omniprint and Mamaki for donating these prizes. As sort of a draw, I mean, look, I think the apparel zone is exciting enough without these prizes. It's sort of the icing and the cherry and the whipped cream on top of the cake. So I'm again very grateful for the generous donations from both Mamaki and Omniprint. But let's talk about the zone itself, right?
Yeah.
So I kind of think of it as a clock. So I'll start over at like 1 o'clock, and that's our podcast booth. And I know that you all will be doing a podcast live from the show, which is we're really excited about. And we'll have a full schedule of podcasts that will be going on. There'll be some seats out there and speakers. So if you want to listen live, you'll be able to. So really cool. And I'm excited to see what we're going to present there. As you kind of then continue around, I'll take a quick look. We have our soft brands wall, our blanks wall. I know we've confirmed Delta and Sanmar as sponsors so that they'll be showing off some of their blanks. So that's really cool for us. And then we have our e-commerce pavilion. So this is a place where you can come and see some workflow. Omniprint is going to be showing their work software. Stalls is showing their Spirit Express, their cut vinyl e-commerce solution. And we're working on a third. We have a couple that are in the works right now. So I'm excited about that. And then we kind of hit I call it our DTG row. So we've got M&R, who is a title sponsor for the Apparel Zone, and we thank M&R for that. They've got their Maverick DTG printer. We have Omniprint will be showing their FreeJet. We have the Ricoh RI2000, the Epson F2100, and Roland is going to be showing off their new multi-platen DTG printer. So we're going to have 5 DTG options right there in a row.
Wow.
And again, this isn't a competition. This is a chance for attendees to see because they are different levels of printers. They just want to see, what does a print look like? Can I get something printed? And we have some pre-made designs, so you'll be able to choose from a number of designs and print your own shirt. The goal is for the attendee to have a really experiential experience. Or that was probably too many EXs there, but to have a great experience, to actually make or decorate their own shirt, right?
Yeah.
So from there, we have our manual screen press. If you want to push a squeegee, you'll be able to. We have Charlie Toblieb and Lon Winter are going to be helping us out there.
Nice. What if you want to pull a squeegee, Ray? Can you pull a squeegee?
Yeah, but I'll tell you, Charlie told me that you pull to get the ink and push, depending on how you feel. That's a feel thing, right?
Okay, all right. It's just a big joke. There's it's like Apple versus PC. That whole
right.
Yeah.
Well, look, I was taught by Charlie.
Yeah, there you go.
And so I follow what Charlie told me.
Yeah, there you go. Nice.
Do you make a giant mess behind you like Charlie does? Because Charlie, you can follow Charlie's wake.
Yeah, I'll have to have a few tables and some barriers set up, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm excited about that. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
Again, if you want to screen print a shirt, great. Have a chance to screen print a shirt.
Nice.
M&R is showing off their bagging and folding software or equipment. So just to show automation, right? Because we're trying to show different levels in this zone. It's not all for beginners. It's not all for intermediate. It's not all for advanced. There's something a little something for everyone.
Yeah.
As we keep going around the clock, we have the Luminaris, which is the dye-sub laser transfer printer. So they'll be showing off that, so you could do some spot hits on shirts. Stalls will have a table with their cut vinyl. So if you want to just put some vinyl on shirt, we'll have some different designs. We've got a number of heat presses, George Knight, Hicks, and Stalls. They've all provided heat presses so that we can press all these things. And then we've got the Creo transfer printer. And one of the things that I'm really excited about when it comes to decorating is Color Drop Digital. They have their new direct-to-film printer. So we will be showing that in the booth. If you want to come check out, that's sort of new technology. Can I get a feel for what that looks like? We have an embroidery machine set up over there. So I'm hoping, again, all the details aren't quite ironed out. I'm hoping that we'll get bags that we can embroider so that you can then use those bags to carry your shirt. There will be a very cool show shirt. I don't have the design. I think the design is finalized, but I don't want people to see it. But if you go to the apparel zone, you'll get the apparel zone show shirt. It's not for the overall show. It's focused in the apparel zone. Okay. So it's produced by M&R. They used a screen printer, their digital squeegee, and their DTG, 3 processes to make this shirt. The design was done by Lon Winters at Graphic Elephants. So it's really a very interesting design. And the shirts are donated by Delta. So if you want to get a shirt, that's a giveaway in the apparel zone for people that come to the zone. Yeah. And then we kind of wrap it up with our dye-sub, our little mini factory. So that Mimaki TS 100 printer, you'll be able to see it in operation there. We have a Monte Antonio heat press. And then I don't know the manufacturer yet because that's one of the last details that we're ironing out, but a digital laser cutter so that we can cut out blanks. We do have Henderson is providing a sewing machine, and we want to let attendees create a placemat, and Henderson will sew the edges up for it. They'll hem the edges.
Wow.
But we'll also show the process of making shirts. We just won't actually sew them in the booth because it takes up too much. There's too many pieces of equipment that's needed to make a shirt.
Yeah.
And so we were fortunate to get a sewing machine. And they were willing to do hemming. So I said placemats. That'll be easy, but we'll show the process of printing shirts and cutting them out on the laser. So, in the middle will be the cafe and beer garden. So I don't want to forget to mention that. But I think
you didn't want to bury the lead before. You didn't want to bury the lead before. Isn't that the lead?
Well, for some people, yes, Terry, it absolutely is. But for me, it's that Mimaki and Omniprint donations. Those prize donations are really powerful. And I just wanted to make sure I mentioned them.
Nice. Well, you'll find Terry and I in the center then. That'll be good.
Well, yeah, and our booth is right by there. I don't know if that was a shrewd choice on your part, but so it sounds like lots of activity over there in the garment zone. Is this something where somebody's going to have to go and like check the schedule and I can screen print from 1 to 2, or is this going to be constant activity over there?
There will be constant activity. There are 2 areas that we're given a little leeway to only because of their staffing. So first off, the screen print side, Lon Winters and Charlie Talbib have agreed to help in that zone, but they have other commitments. So once we finalize that, we'll put up a schedule. So if you want to screen print a shirt, you'll know when you could come. And Roland, because they're trying to manage, their booth is a little further away, they're going to have somebody there for about 4 hours each day, and we'll have a calendar, or, a posted sign to let people know. But everything else will be running the entire time. You'll be able to pick up a piece of cut vinyl, decorate a shirt. You'll be able to go to the e-commerce area. There'll be people there helping you to see how that works and how can you design a shirt. There'll be people helping with the printers. We have somebody manning the entrance and the passport station so that you can start your journey to visit all the different sponsors. But those are the only 2 areas that we'll be really trying to focus on, letting you know, okay, the screen print is open from this time during the day.
Gotcha.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So Gustav from Sweden said Aaron can help show embroidery. So yes, I am available for that. Ray,
Perfect.
You'll find this interesting. But in the 21 years that I've been in this industry, 2 weeks ago, I embroidered myself for the first time ever. So I've got 15 minutes of experience. So I am ready to help.
You're a little ahead of me, so you're in good shape.
And I'm guessing you will also have to kick me out of the booth whenever I see Charlie and Lon leave that screen printing area. I'll be right over there.
Oh, come on over.
There we go. We can make it happen. All right. So, and then Gusta also said, now I really want to go to this. And here's the great part. Here's the thing I love about, Printing United, formerly SGIA, is it's always such an international show. We do get to meet our friends that come from all over the place. I mean,
sure.
I've met people there from Australia and all over Europe, Sweden, places like that. And then Latin America is always very well represented there too. So, so I'm really excited.
Oh, sorry. So I just make sure I probably didn't say this. I just assume people know, but October 6th to 8th, Orlando, Florida. And registration is open. So go register. We already are getting registrations in. It's coming right along.
Wow.
So I'm excited to see more registrations show up.
Excellent. So Ray,
I want to see everybody in the apparel zone.
How does somebody go about doing that? How do they sign up and how do they get updates about the show?
You would ask me that question. I know you go to printingunited.com to register.
There's enough.
That's everything you need to know. And Eric's got it on the screen there for us for those that are tuned in live. But if you're catching the podcast version, it's printingunited.com. Yep. Excellent. All right, Ray.
And for anybody who doesn't always listen, former SGIA.org. So
yeah.
There you go.
It still is open there. You can see it. Yes. But printingunited.com is where you'd want to go to register. Yes.
Yep.
Perfect.
Printingunited.com. Excellent. Ray, anything that we missed? That's a lot, but I just want to make sure that we didn't miss anything before we let you get out of here.
I think we're good. I really appreciate the time. I love being on your show. So this was fun. It's always fun.
Fantastic.
We enjoy having fun. And Ray, we really appreciate all the work that you and the team over there at Printing United is doing. I know this is a big undertaking to get everything together. But I mean, I think this is so cool for our apparel world to be able to have this opportunity. Like you said, you can see everything from, how do we get started to here's what the big guys are doing. So you can kind of see what your process might be to grow where you want to grow. So I think that's a very unique opportunity.
Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yep. All right, Ray. Well, thank you so much for your time. And again, everybody get over to printingunited.com and get signed up for the show. And Ray, we will have you back on again soon. We always love having you. So thanks for being here.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Ray.
See you later.
All right.
Great, Terry. That's exciting.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
I know, man. That's a lot of activity over there. I didn't realize there'd be quite so much going on.
Yeah. Well, and they really know how to pull at our heartstrings, right? They've got all of our favorite things in one little area. We've got podcasting. We've got, hopefully podcasters can get one of those cool shirts too. Obviously beer and beer garden. That's always is fun for us.
It's kind of a nice tie-in with garment decorating. All the decorators out there go, yeah, that's true.
Yeah. But then the other part is we just love hanging out with all these people that have the same passion for this, right? And you have everybody all talking about Lon Winters and Charlie Tablib and Ray and everybody, and you've got Stalls, you've got just the whole garment gamut. It worked, but
the garment gamut, yeah.
Garment gamut. There you go. Thank you. Of people there to just be in one place at one time, and that's a lot of brain power. And then you add a couple beers in there, and boy, things get real fun.
Well, Aaron, and that's an opportunity too, because since most of us there haven't been a lot of shows. And the few shows we've been able to get to, you get to see a handful of your industry friends. You get to see everybody at Printing United. Everyone's going to be there, so it's going to be exciting. And the Two Regular Guys booth is going to be right next to the apparel zone, so we'll get to chat with everybody, and hopefully all of you out there listening, if you get a chance to come to Orlando, we would love to have you come over and maybe do a little interview that we can play later on the Two Regular Guys podcast.
Absolutely. And it's time to update our intros. So
it is indeed. And I'll have my digital microphone or my digital recorder there. And I give you a little card and I let you walk away and record it. And if you stumble, just start again.
Yep. We edit the whole thing. It's awesome. Awesome. All right, Terry. Well, that's exciting. October 6th through the 8th. And that, again, in Orlando, Florida. So probably a very nice time to be there. And so go to printingunited.com and check that out and get registered. And we will see you there.
Absolutely.
All right, Terry. Well, let's get into a couple of quick news items. And then we will talk about building relationships with customers in a long distance world. We'll wrap that up as well. So quick first thing that I've got, Terry, is David, most people know him as Toby Hall, has retired from Universal Woods. Universal Woods, a manufacturer of hard surface coating substrates for sublimation printing. The Chromolux would probably be the brand name that you recognize the most from Universal Woods. They are announcing the retirement of David Toby Hall. Hall worked for the company for the past 27 years, serving in sales and customer service, most recently serving as the vice president of sales and customer service for the company's North American sublimation division. So congratulations to Toby, and wishing him a very successful and relaxing. The guy spent a lot of windshield time. He drove to a lot of shows. So I got to meet Toby when I worked with him over at Coastal Business Supplies. Very, very great guy. So congratulations, Toby.
He'll probably retire and open a little business doing wedding photos on Chromolux.
Probably so. Nice. So what about you, Terry? What's happening? I know you guys got some events coming up here.
Yeah. There's going to be a DTG open house at Equipment Zone's Tempe, Arizona location this Thursday. It's going to be from 12 to 3. We're just going to be doing some demonstrations, including direct to film with an F2100. I'm going to do a presentation on the process of direct to garment. We're going to have lunch and just 3 hours for people to come by our Tempe location and say hello. And so if you're in Arizona, New Mexico, Southern California, go to equipmentzone.com. It'll be me, Jay Bassell, a few of the other Equipment Zone folks there. So we would love to see you guys come out.
Excellent. Well, unfortunately, I won't be able to make it out personally for that. So can I ask a
You'll
question
be here in
of you
spirit
right now? I will be there in spirit with you. Yeah. So on the DTF, can I do it on the F2100 without a RIP software?
You can. It's just easier with the RIP software.
Okay.
It's without the RIP software, it's about 3 steps. With the RIP software, it's a button click. So
okay. All right.
Anyway.
All right. Well,
and Aaron, remind me. I have a video of doing it without the RIP.
There you
that
go.
I can send
All
you.
right.
So.
Yes, send it over. We can post it on the Two Regular Guys page as well. So
perfect. And speaking of being somewhere in spirit, my dad joke, man.
It's time. It's time. Let's do it.
Speaking of spirits, and I'm, everybody knows I'm kind of into the paranormal. I write books about it, and so here's my dad joke. Aaron, I found out my girlfriend is really a ghost.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I had my suspicions the minute she walked through the door. Oh, come on, that's a good one, you guys. I can feel you groaning out there.
I giggled, so I love it. That's perfect.
All right, Aaron. Hey, before we dive in any further, thanks to everyone who's checking out the Two Regular Guys podcast. As always, we're looking for new guests. If you or anyone you know would like to join us, go to calendly.com/2 regular guys, and give us your show ideas. We, as I said, we're always looking for new guests and love to. And also, if you have an idea for a show, you don't necessarily want to come on, but you have an idea, something you'd like to hear us talk about, please let us know. If you are listening to the podcast version, we would appreciate you sharing the Two Regular Guys with your industry friends so they can become regulators too. And please give us a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, or Amazon Podcast, or wherever you do your podcast listening. If you're watching live right now, please join in with your comments and questions, especially about building relationships, and tell us about your own experiences as well.
Yeah, definitely. We would love to have you join. Also, make sure that you're sharing the show. Let's get some more live. The more interactions we get, the better the information you guys are going to get. So, yeah. And then one other thing before we get into a quick video from Printing United, I always giggle right after the dad joke section because we always have excellent follow-ups from the regulators. So, so just let me get a couple of these real quick before we get to Printing United one more time here.
Okay.
So, Letty said you could see right through that. And then Todd said, I was thinking Terry was into other spirits.
Very good.
And, Eric said, I hate to give it to him, but that was good. So there you go. Groans, but it was good. Awesome. All right. Well, let's hear a quick word. We're going to watch a quick video from Printing United. Those of you on the podcast side will hear a quick word from Printing United. Oh man, you guys are missing out on the dance party behind that. It was fantastic. Somehow, some way, we'll have to get the dance party going in so you guys can check it out. But
someday Eric will say, everyone can see that.
Yeah. My favorite with Terry was when you were doing the Madonna.
Doing a little voguing.
Doing a little voguing. Very nice. Very nice. Excellent beat, and you can dance to it. So that's what I'm looking for in a good tune. So, all right, Terry. Well, let's talk building relationships with customers in a long distance world. We had a really great conversation about this through most of the show last week, and still lots to talk about. So where should we start here?
Well, Aaron, we talked about having relationships with that customer that comes to your website and buys one shirt here and one shirt there, and how to keep them engaged so they keep coming back. And our example was Johnny Cupcakes, because he's created that brand, he's created that following that you've got to have that next Johnny Cupcake shirt. And so we talked about ways to do that. But most of us have customers who are, maybe we sell to schools, maybe we sell to clubs, maybe we sell to retailers, maybe we sell to associations. I used to print for the National Corn Growers Association, by the way.
Oh.
And
And
who
then
knew,
I turned into
right?
whiskey and whiskey. Anyhow,
I know.
That's a country
Yeah.
song.
Then I started with the grains. Then I went to the,
Gotcha. All right.
Trying to get in with Tito's now. No. But so we also, since those are people we used to go knock on their door, and not always, because many of us sell nationally, internationally, because it's a different world. Back when I started decorating, it was you printed for the local community or the region, but we still need to keep in touch with those people, and so. The first thing that I think about when I talk about, how to keep in the forefront of the relationship and hold the competition at bay, by the way, isn't that what we're talking about here?
Yeah, exactly.
Not letting somebody sneak in and snag that business away, because, it is so much easier to keep a customer than to get a new customer. And we've all heard that before. I know, Aaron, that's something you've talked about on the show many, many times.
Yep.
But the first comment I want to make about it is how do you keep in the forefront communication without being obnoxious? And what I'm talking about is, you can kind of overdo it too. Some people will just, it's suddenly it feels like hounding,
Yeah.
So it's really a matter of let's keep in touch with each other. Let's share some ideas. Let's you give me some recommendations, and we're going to talk about some of these things. But you can't just sit and wait for that customer to call you when they're ready.
Yeah, exactly. And Terry, I think this is a great point. That communication, but without being obnoxious. And when you talk about that, without being obnoxious, there's two things that you've got to do to keep from, quote unquote, being obnoxious. And the first thing is, Eric talks about this, you talk about this, I talk about this. We have to be of value. We have to be a consultant for our customers. Now, you just mentioned, let's talk about some ideas. How do we get, how do we get beyond whatever struggle we're going through, COVID, whatever, how can we work together, blah, 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 those kinds of things. And then the second thing you have to do is you have to have a little forethought about how you're going to get to that next communication. So in the communication that you're having, you have to come up with a way to leave that communication so that it is expected that you will be contacting them again. Right. And so it's, it can be as simple as just saying, hey, this is great. Can I maybe check in with you next week and we can see if we can come up with some more ideas, or if something else comes up that I think of that might work for you, can I contact you about it? Right. So it's just, you can't just go, okay, well, thanks for your time, and hang up the phone or close the email. It's how do you leave that with them so that they can then realize and expect you to be reaching back out again.
Right. And Aaron, in my experience, running production operations, there were vendors that I looked forward to talking to, and other vendors when I'd get a call from the receptionist going, okay, here's an hour of my time that I wasn't planning on using up. And why? Why is that? Because some vendors have things of value for you, and others are going to talk around the post, as my mother would say, until they finally say, so you want to buy something? The idea is they want to buy something from you because you have a relationship, not because you're calling saying, hey, you want to buy something?
Yeah. So I got a funny story about that, Terry and Kim. I don't believe I've ever told this story before. So I used to work with a vendor, and their sales manager guy really thought very highly of himself. And he would come in once a year. He that was his thing. He'd make his rounds to all the dealers, and he would come in once a year and come in, talk for an hour, and pretty much leave. And I
bestow
remember
his
one-
blessing upon you, and then
yeah, just sharing all the blah blah blah. Here's the numbers, yada 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 yada. And I remember one time that he was in there and just going and going and going, and I mean, just nobody else could say a word. And the owner of the company that I worked for at the time just got up, walked out, got a bottle of water, brought it back in, and gave it to the guy, and said, I thought you might need this. You haven't stopped talking yet, so you're probably thirsty."
take a breath, man.
Oh man. But like it was all about him talking for an hour and back in and back out. And it was exactly what you said. Every time we were like, oh, he's no longer there, so I can use his name. And Randy's gonna be you know who I'm talking about, actually, Terry. So anyhow, that's the how you become obnoxious. And again, he wasn't doing it to be obnoxious. I don't think he's an obnoxious person. I think he didn't think that through, and he didn't have that forethought to realize that it's about building a relationship, not about him preaching to us.
Well, exactly. Yeah, you can't come in and do your spiel and then expect people to just sit there and make notes and say, okay, all is right with the world. It's you come in and have a conversation. Or more importantly, what we're talking about here, you don't necessarily come in. You're either communicating through email or Zoom meeting or a phone call or that sort of thing. So,
yeah, definitely. Real quick, Terry, before you get to the next point here, Adam Fuller, 10-year-old entrepreneur, said, "You don't want to become noise." So there you go.
Look at you, Adam. Holy cow.
Yeah.
Let's just hope he doesn't start a podcast right away.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, Adam, podcasts are not where you want to be. All right.
Right. We don't want to be the second most listened to podcast in the industry.
Okay. All right. Well, what's next, Terry?
Well, and Aaron, kind of building on what you're talking about is we want to give them something of value. So maybe the purpose of a call or the purpose of a meeting of some sort is to help them sell more product, help them sell, you're selling them a product and let's help them sell that product as well. And maybe one of the ways you do that is, and especially for older established companies, maybe you help them understand and help them develop online stores, and it is, well, I want to say it's the future, but it's now. We had someone on the show and their name escapes me, or the person escapes me. I just remember them saying at current time, they had something like 97 stores opened that day. Some of them permanent. Maybe it was Allie. I couldn't remember who said it. I just remember that event thinking, holy cow, that's incredible. Yeah. And probably most of those stores were little temporary stores that were open for 10 days or 2 weeks or whatever for this group or that group. And there are a lot of businesses out there who don't understand how that works. And if you could go in there and hold their hand and help them through it, maybe help them get that first one set up, then you're going to be a pretty important cog in the machine of their profitability. So, just an example.
Yeah, for sure. And
sorry, Allie, I didn't remember. I just remembered your fact, not who said it. And next show, it will be me that said it. So
exactly. So, yeah, I mean, that is something to think about. It is, that same thing, that consulting, helping them out. Most of the time, fundraisers aren't successful because the people that are having the funds raised for them don't know how to promote it. Right. They don't know how to get it out there. So we talk a lot about that inside our success group. In fact, Todd did a whole training on building fundraisers and working with fundraiser stores and things like that. So it's that same thing. That's how you're building those relationships, is by being of value, bringing value to the table, and then in exchange for that value, getting paid for it. That's the second half of it. But anyway, what's next?
Do you think Kim objects to repeating a story about her?
I think that's totally fine. Yeah.
Well, and I've talked about it on here before, obviously, since I'm repeating it. But she was showing me a store for it was a high school club, I believe, and they said, we want this item and this item and this item, and she came back and said, okay, so here are 3 other items that I think will be very profitable for you. It didn't cost them anything. because they only pay for what they sell. I'm going to recommend that you put these 3 items on your store as well. Yeah. And obviously, because we have a little more insight into this, all of us who are decorators, those were the hottest sellers for that organization. So were they happy that she came and said, I think you ought to add these items as well? Yeah, they were thrilled because they sold a lot more products. So that's what we're talking about here, helping them to be successful at what they're doing. So
absolutely. Okay, Terry. So what's next on the list here?
Well, I think last week we talked about Jay Bassell, our marketing guru friend, the chief taco officer.
Yep. Tacos.
So, I know something that he came up with, and well, I don't know if he came up with it or he borrowed, but at the beginning of COVID, he said, we should be sending out thinking about you packages, and maybe it's a coffee mug, not with your logo, with your customer's logo on it. Maybe it's some other type product that just says, hey, just wanted to give you this gift, thinking about you, let me know if there's anything I can do to help you. And I thought, what a great concept that is. And he took it a step further and said, say to that customer, listen, I could put these together for you to send to your customer, and I'll just take care of the whole thing for you. Now, all of a sudden, you have your own niche market, something to add to our list of niche markets where you are doing promotional products directly to that company's customers themselves, almost like a fulfillment type thing. So I love that concept that Jay had, hey, I'm thinking about you.
Yeah. Now, Terry, real quick, you have shared that concept before, so you already gave Jay credit for it. So I thought this time it was your idea. So.
Yeah, well, I'm going to be doing a live event with Jay on Thursday, so I think it's inappropriate I steal from him yet.
Yeah,
so,
okay, all right.
So, well, but Friday, man, this is mine.
Nice. And back to the fundraisers here real quick. Todd mentioned 85% of team stores that sell 10,000 or more have less than 10 products in them. So
that's an excellent point.
Shows. So, all right. Well, what else? What's next on the list, Terry?
Well, what I think you gave an example one time about like 86% of millennials have to work up the courage to make a phone call. Yep. It's some crazy number that I know you picked up from I think ThreadX event.
Yeah, Jay Bear. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, and but you know what? Sometimes you do need to pick up the phone and just call a customer and just to check in. Hey, I just want to take 10 seconds of your time. I just want to check in with you. It's harder and harder, I think, for people to make phone calls, but sometimes you need to have that personal voice-to-voice contact.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. And funny enough, I must be a millennial at heart because I despise the phone. I don't know what it is and where that started, why I've always disliked phone calls. But like you said, there's a time where it just, you've got to do it. You just got to pick up the phone and have that conversation, and meet your customers where they're at. You certainly want to make it easy for them and give them options so they can, come to you whatever route is most comfortable for them that works for you. But at the same time, if they need a phone call, they need a phone call. So I agree, Terry. Just pick up the phone. And like I said, even somebody like me who is not a fan of phones, this is really just a mini computer for me.
Right.
And then real quick, Adam has got a question, Terry. I think it'd be great for you to answer. Is it good to go for a niche in a niche, like a sub niche?
Well, I think Aaron, you would agree. We're both very, very niche market oriented, and absolutely. I mean, an example from the past is firefighters. That's a niche market, selling to firefighters. Tough market to get into because just about every fire station has a screen printer, DTG printer, sublimation printer working there. But within firefighters, the example was the folks the screen printers who go around and follow the West Coast forest fires. That is a niche within a niche, but it's the kind of thing that it's hard to to say on this date we'll be making this much money, but within this season, we'll make this much money. But I think the sharper you can tune into a niche within a niche within a niche, I think the better you are. Unless it gets so finite that you
there's nobody
that you're very limited, and there's 3 people in the world who do this, and
and it might be hard to make a living off of that. But to that point though, Terry, like you said, because the whole point of serving a niche is to make it so, when we talked about, Adam brought it up before, actually says you don't want to become noise. Well,
right.
When there's so many people, if you're not familiar with it, go look it up. It's called the Blue Ocean Strategy, and the Blue and Red Ocean Strategy for marketing. And the whole idea of the Blue Ocean Strategy is the fact that you want to be known as the best in your space. So the more you niche down, the easier it is for you to become the go-to person in that particular space. So, you use the firefighters there, Terry. I will go with my volleyball thing because I love volleyball. I could be somebody that's, my niche is volleyball, but that's still pretty broad. There's a lot of volleyball stuff out there. So, I would want to then go, and is it regionally based? Is it local? Am I focused on youth sports, indoor, outdoor, getting into what it is that I can be the very best at, and then go from there. And what you'll find is when you get down into that sub niche and you work really hard at being the best in that space, then you'll start having other niche areas come to you. Sure. We've talked about, in fact, had Brett Bowden on the show, and he talked about that very thing where they were still are very focused. He's a band guy, and they were focused on being the best band related merch providers in Fort Worth, Texas. And that led into them becoming the printers for the Dallas Mavericks professional basketball team. Right. So not his niche, but because he was so great in that space, they came to him to get that.
Yeah. And what were the Mavericks looking for? We want that rock and roll look.
Yep.
And someone goes, well, you need to talk to Brett because he's a rock and roll guy. And not only is he a musician, but he has a super successful screen printing business, and that's his style. So was he out of his niche or was he not? When you think about it, because the customer was outside the niche, the product was inside the niche.
Correct.
So
correct.
That's an excellent example. And by the way, Brett, thank you very much for sending me some photos to use in my article for Impressions Magazine this week. You're awesome. I asked him in about 45 seconds after I sent him an email, he sent me 4 photos and 2 videos. So
wow. Look at that guy. He's on the ball.
He is on it.
Nice. All right, Terry. Well, let's keep moving here, and we've got a few other things to hit.
Yeah, one of the things that you can do when you're not out there knocking on doors is doing a virtual event, a Zoom meeting or something along those lines. And here's the reminder. And Aaron, you and I, and of course Eric, have experienced this. When trade shows shut down, everybody said, okay, we're going to do a virtual event. Well, they were a little clunky on the front end. Let's just say it. And because nobody quite knew how to do it. And because you can't do it like a live event. If you're doing a virtual event, it's not like you can, stand there in front of the camera and the microphone and talk for an hour. Because people lose interest. It's easy to get distracted when you're sitting in here at your desk. Because right there, I have a TV. I might flip it on if I'm not super interested in this part of your presentation. And I've got another computer over here, and it's easy to get distracted. So what's the solution? And Scott Ritter at DAX figured it out, and I think you guys will both agree with me. You can't see Eric, but he's shaking his head. But what did he do? He did, what was it, 3 hours, Aaron?
It was about 3 hours, yeah.
About 3 hours, but like 5 and 10 minute segments. And so I talked for like 10 minutes, and boom, Eric was on for 10 minutes, and then it was somebody else, and then Aaron, you talked for 10 minutes, and it really held your attention. But he understood that the distraction involved in a long presentation, when if I'm sitting in a classroom at a trade show, or if I'm sitting at your open house, I'm pretty much focused on you standing there in the front of the room talking. But if I'm sitting in front of a computer screen, we have a short attention span. So I thought, man, those 3 hours went by like that, because it was just pop, 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 pop with and bullet points. So, in your own business, you can do these types of things too. Maybe have a virtual open house and talk to your customers about things you're doing, and then have video out on your production floor showing your staff decorating garments, and have some video of, so here's some new products we're going to be offering. Almost all of them are in stock. Sorry.
Joke, Terry.
I know.
Too soon.
That's the second time I've had our listeners groan. Oh, yeah. That's right. I've got to find those Heather crew necks today. I've got to start calling again.
I'm just going to watch the live listener number drop off now. So Terry, as you're talking about that, like you said, Scott had, but the other thing Scott did is he had it really well planned out as far as like having a backup plan. He had some filler people in there, because it was about showing off the exhibitors that were exhibiting at DAX, but he had some other filler people in there in case somebody dropped off, or somebody went short. But then if somebody went long, skip a filler person, that kind of thing. So you gotta plan it out a little bit. Another thing that I was thinking about when you're talking about virtual events here, Terry, just like a live event, it's all about kind of bringing people in and getting them engaged in the quote unquote conversation.
Right.
And so, you mentioned like doing an open house, and the way I would do it, do like a Facebook Live. Maybe you get a program like we use here called StreamYard.com, if you want to check that out. And you get in there and like you said, you show this, you show that, but make these little 5-minute pops of information, 5 to 10 minutes, 15 minutes, something like that. And then between all of those, have some sort of a giveaway, and make that giveaway dependent on their engagement, sharing, whatever. And so that way people, again, like you said, easily distracted when we're in our own environment. I can go do this, I can go do that, dogs barking, TV's on, that kind of thing. It's there are other things that they could be doing. So if they're going, I might not be as interested in this subject, but I know that there's this giveaway coming up, and I know I've got to be on my keyboard typing to do that. Guess what? It's going to look and feel a whole lot different. So,
remember, Aaron, a few years ago when CorelDRAW came out with a new version, and they introduced it on the Two Regular Guys, and they gave us 2 or 3 programs to give away. And how do we do it? You don't need to call into us, but we want you to post about it on social media, and then whoever was on Twitter or on Instagram or all these different places that, to post about it. Yeah. Then we selected from there who was going to get that free CorelDRAW. So
exactly,
kind of the same concept.
So give them a reason to be engaged, and you'll see a lot more. I mean, and again, it's what we're talking about here, Terry. It's not how do you make sales. This is about how you build relationships in an online world, in a long distance world, as opposed to how we would have traditionally built it in a face-to-face.
Right. The sales will come. We don't need to hear your pitch necessarily, but and Aaron, along those lines, let's talk about social media, about being seen as a key part of the industry and positioning yourself accordingly. Aaron, I don't know. Are we? Have I lost Aaron? Eric? I thought it was maybe me. So talking about social media. There and we've given hundreds of examples over time, but the best way to be seen, if you're not knocking on someone's door, is to go out there and be a part of social media, not selling again, but just participating out there in social media. So that's one of our keys to building those relationships out there. And the last point that we want to talk about for that relationship with the customers that are regular customers by quantities of products is, hey, Eric?
Hey. You know, I figure it is the two regular guys, and since this is something
there
I
ought to
talk
be two
about
people
too,
here.
You know, I'm irregular, but I'm here. I managed, and hey, I want to be seen on social media too.
There you are, and look at you. You're here on Facebook. You're at Spotify right now.
I'm positioning myself as part of the industry. It's in the notes. I know it.
Eric, I know you have some comments about being out there seen on social media, though.
Yeah, and in fact, here's the thing, because we're getting into another, and I know it's on the outline, so I know what's coming up next, so I get to cheat and know ahead of time, guys, what we're about to talk about. But here's the thing, I always talk about showing the kind of work you want to do as part of this too. You want to be seen. You want to be seen certainly, and kind of humanize yourself. There's nothing wrong with being yourself online, and honestly, having some sort of culture. This is not like this is what I always think about it. When I first came into the industry, my companies that I worked for always wanted to have everything was like chrome and wood, and it looked like 1980s brochures for like a clock radio. Like everything was like super corporate. The language was super formal, and it took forever for me to get through to their heads. Like, I'm like, okay, trying to make yourself look big and corporate and glossy really isn't it anymore. Like, that's not what we're trying to do. It's you know, having an embossed business card doesn't change everybody's mind about your company anymore. What does is like being yourself, having your culture, like you talked about with Brett. His style, his culture, what he was brought him that the business. And when we're on social media, part of that too is just doing the kind of work that, you got to make sure the work's profitable. I show all kinds of like passion projects, and then I kind of wish I hadn't, because sometimes they're not as profitable as they could be. But you want to show that kind of good work that you do, and make sure you keep putting yourself out there. And that's part of building that relationship, is saying, hey, look, this is this work that I'm capable of, and I'm here to do it for you. Here's how I helped other people. Here's how I helped other businesses.
Well, you know, Eric, I've talked to decorators before who say, man, I really hate to do XYZ in my decorating. And I'm like, why are you showing them that sample? Stop showing that. Show them what you want to do. I
very much had the same experience. I very much had the same experience where somebody was like, man, I'm having trouble with all like rhinestone transfers. And I'm like, I just looked at your profile. Everything is rhinestones.
Exactly.
Why is everything on your profile rhinestones if you never want to touch another rhinestone? I'm like, if it's profitable, hey, then keep doing rhinestones, and it's time to work on your, on your process. But if it's not, I'm like, why are we showing that? Show the work you want to do.
You know, no, Mel A, we talk about Mel all the time from All Made Apparel, but when she was a decorator, everything she would post was either a 1 or 2 color print. Yeah. Well, guess what people bought from her? 1 or 2 color prints. What do we want to screen print out there, everybody? 1 or 2 color prints.
Show your coolest ones, and show them in action, showing them doing the job that they're supposed to be doing. It's not just this is the other thing I always had when I first came out. Like I said, everybody kept on jumping up and saying, let's talk about how many heads we have, how big that the shop is. And I'm like, no one cares.
Right.
Nobody out there besides us knows how many heads of embroidery is impressive. And
you and your lease company, you're the only ones who are interested in that.
And on top of it, it doesn't matter anymore. These days, people have fleets of little single head machines, and they put out all this really highly personalized work, and that's more valuable. So at this point, like I said, being a corporate entity that nobody knows is not valuable anymore. Being a big faceless corporation, there's only a very few people who want that, and it's contract, and it's not direct to customer. It's not even business to business necessarily. It's like that is for people who are contract, who don't want their decorator to be seen behind the process. It's drop shippers that don't want you to have a personality. But
that's right.
The rest of us do.
Well, I'm going to wrap this section with something that I don't mind repeating, Kim, because I'm going to repeat this 10,000 times over the next 10 years of our show. Do good work, deliver on time. Do good work, deliver on time. Times 10. That's the secret to success in all of this. Do good work, deliver it on time. So, and I see Aaron is floating around back out there again.
It seems like he's back. I can always. There's Aaron.
We'll
rearrange everybody and everything.
Yep. We'll see how we do here. So stay tight, Eric.
Our viewer numbers jumped up with that when Eric came on. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
So
hey, no comment.
Eric's live.
I'm just going to disappear into the lobby for a minute, but yeah, I'll be around.
All right. Yeah. hang tight because for some reason we had a huge storm come through. In fact, a house about just half block away from us got hit by lightning last night and was on fire. So
Oh no! Holy cow!
and I think there's another round of storms rolling through. So maybe we're having some residuals here. I'm actually on my hotspot right now.
Oh gosh!
So yes, hang tight, Eric. All right, where were we, Terry?
We're coming up on 9 o'clock. I just wanted to talk real quick about prospecting for new customers when you can't go out there and knock on the door. Aaron, something that I've done since my very first business, 1979. That's right, everybody, 1979. And please do not comment over here in the comments that you weren't born yet. No one cares. Just like Eric was saying, no one cares. Nobody cares that you weren't born yet.
I was only 5. I was only
whatever.
5.
See now I got to get Eric back on. Now you've offended me. No. But here's something I've done right from the start: sampling. And not my logo, but your logo. And especially when I first started my business, and of course I was screen printing this, so I grab somebody's logo, I put it on a shirt, and I go walk in the door. And then, thanks, Todd. But today I wouldn't necessarily have to walk in the door. I could just put it in a FedEx package and send it over to you. And my track record was 100%. Every time I put someone's logo on a shirt, I got an order from it every single time. I talked to a decorator who did DTG printing. He's in Florida, and this is his method for prospecting for customers. And he said he has an 87% close rate. So 87% of those people that he did a logo for ended up ordering more product from him. So it's the most perfect sales tool for what we do, and decorating garments, decorating products. So, get out there and start sampling for customers you want to have.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that sounds like a great point. What other points do you have here, Terry, before we close up?
Yeah, real quick, references, testimonials, have your customers talk about you in social media, in any kind of promotions, advertising that you do. Have them talk about their experience, because that goes a long way with me. When I see someone say, I had a great experience with this provider. So, and then of course, let me wrap up with, let's go back to what we talked about last week: building a brand, building a reputation. So you want to create that brand, and if you want to learn more about branding, talk to Aaron, talk to Jay Bassell about how to create a brand that people want to associate with, people want to buy from, people feel warm and fuzzy about being your customer.
Yeah. Yep. And I think that's a really good point. In fact, as far as branding goes, Jay Bassell's got an excellent ebook about it that you can check out at his website, jaybassell.com. It's JAYBUSELLE. Does that sound right?
Two S's.
Yeah.
Two S's, two L's.
Sorry, I always miss that out. S. Other S. BUSSELLE. There you go.
It's kind of like Mississippi.
Yep. I like it. All right. In fact, Eric's got it in the comments there. jaybassell.com. So check that out, because branding is not your color, not your logo. Branding is what your company's personality is. And I think
exactly.
Jay does a better job than anybody I've seen kind of breaking that down and giving you, he calls it your style guide. And it's a great book. So check that out. Terry, and then one last thing before we close, I just wanted to go back to what you were talking about with the references and testimonials.
Yeah.
Just want people to think about, how are you creating an opportunity for your customers to share a reference or testimonial? You can't just expect them to do it on their own. You have to create those opportunities by, ask. I mean, heck, on Google, you can go and there's a link and you can share, and, hey, I'd love to, if you guys could, post a review or something like that, but make it easy for them to do that and help them. Now, on the online stuff, it's against their terms of service to incentivize a review. Like I would say $5. So just be aware of that. You can actually get booted off of those sites for doing stuff like that. But you in a way, you want to incentivize that. People like to share if they feel comfortable doing it.
Right.
But most people will not take it upon themselves to do it. It takes a pretty big extrovert to want to do that, and most people are more in the middle.
And Aaron, make it a little small bite. The day after I do my screen printing class, I send I call them quick guides, some guides that goes into a little more depth about pricing, a little more depth about product placement, or not product placement, but graphic placement. And I end it with, and it would really be helpful to me if you could just give me a couple of sentences about your experience in class. Well, anybody can write a couple of sentences. If I say, give me a review, they're like, oh, well.
You send me a video.
That seems like a lot.
Or can you do a live video on Facebook?
Yeah. Just a couple of sentences, just 30 seconds on your experience. And I almost always get some back that I can add to my website, about what they thought of the class. So, it's that kind of thing.
There we go. All right, I keep zooming in to try to get the internet to work here a little bit better for me. So bringing down the video quality, you guys. All right, well, Terry, awesome stuff. Thank you for putting this together. Great information. What do you have coming up, sir?
Next weekend, I'll be in Chicago for my my complete screen printing business course at Atlas Screen Supply. Sold out, but they will have another class November 6th through 7th. I'm going to be at DAX Chicagoland the week after that on August 27th, doing a seminar called "Am I Doing This Right? Pro Tips for Screen Printers." And I will be back in Phoenix on October 23rd and 24th doing my complete screen printing business class. And just a heads up, that class is starting to fill up already. So you can find all my events at all my upcoming events at terrycombs.com under the tab tour dates. And I'm actually touring. How about you, Aaron?
It's awesome to see you touring again, Terry. You just have a different air about you when you're,
I know.
No, that's great. For us, big thing happening at our success group. We are still promoting and talking to lots of people about our 5 keys of business success, growing and launching. It's an online training program that allows businesses to really get a foundation so they can grow with more speed and with less potential pitfalls. And so we've been showing it to people and sharing it and getting a lot of fanfare. In fact, we just got back from Minnesota last week, and people were really excited about what it can do for their businesses. We were told just the help it would provide in the pricing section alone was worth the introductory price of $197. But you also get 4 other key elements of your business, basically helping you determine and manage your overhead, setting up workflows so you get your time back, creating loyal fans through customer service, and building a marketing strategy that will actually work as opposed to most people's marketing strategy of the spray and pray. Right.
Right.
So anyhow, if you want to check that out, the introductory price is only through the end of the month. So take advantage of it. It will never be this price again. So that's oursuccessgroup.com/5 keys. Another thing I'm really excited about is August 20th, a week from today, a little later on in the day at 1 p.m. Central Time, be doing Breaking Through Limiting Beliefs. And this is a workshop that I get to do with my wife based on some techniques that we have learned through the success principles. But we're going to basically provide powerful resources to identify, overcome, and empower you to more joy and success. We do have an early bird pricing going on that. It's only $29, and it's an hour-long Zoom event. And so check that out. And we will be doing that workshop other times. So we started Friday. We're just trying to find a time that will work. So we'll probably do that once a month. So if you can't make it on the 20th, still reach out to us and let us know that you're interested, and then what time might be better, time and date might be better for you. And then the other thing to share, Terry, is in about 28 minutes, we have the half coming up with Eric and I. And 30 minutes of Q&A, and it's the one time in Eric and I's life that we will be on time. No bonus time as we usually do on Two Rare Guys, and as Eric normally does on the Take Up. No bonus time, so tune in at liveosg.com, or you can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/oursuccessgrouppro. If you're at either of those places, YouTube or Facebook, you can also search for Eric Campbell. In fact, you should search for Eric Campbell, ERICH Campbell, and make sure that you are following, subscribed, liked, whatever all the little buttons are. Just hit them all, and make sure that you're following Eric, because he has some other great information. So you can catch it in any of those four places: at Our Success Group on YouTube and Facebook, Eric Campbell on YouTube and Facebook. So,
hey, and before you talk about what Eric might be doing,
yeah.
I actually just got an email from Jamar Laster with Impressions Expo 19 minutes ago, and he said he has an update on the Atlantic City show. It's still all a go, but all state buildings in New Jersey, or at least in Atlantic City, are requiring face masks, whether you are vaccinated or not. So everybody in that hall will be in masks. If you don't have a mask when you show up, they will be providing them at the event. So just a quick update on Impressions Expo Atlantic City, which is around the corner.
Awesome. Yeah, that's great that they're still going forward. You know, I know that, you know, some people are opposed to wearing a mask. Our 10-year-old wore a mask through his entire school year last year. So if a 10-year-old can figure it out for an entire school year, you can figure it out for 6 to 8 hours at a trade show. You can do it. It'll be fine. All right, cool. Well, let's as you mentioned, let's talk about what Eric's got coming up here. You can join him on his show at 2:30 Mountain Time, and for the Take Up. And today is episode 79, Handling Creative Criticism. So he says we'll discuss how to deal with criticism from customers and your perfectionist inner voice. Oh man, I got to tune in for that one. That darn, got to flick that guy off, man. He's so that'll be a good one. Check that out. They're always a good one. But head over to ericcampbell.com and click the Take Up tab at the top for the playlist. You can also find Eric's Understanding Emblems, Digitizing Production Styles and Sales. It's all about patches. Everything you'd ever want to know about patches, you can get in this recorded webinar. And it's available at decorators.education/emblems. If you need more Eric in your life, which you do, you also can find him teaching the Elevate Your Embroidery Digitizing Workshop at the DAC Chicagoland. So we'll finally have the whole band back together, all three of us there in Tinley Park. And so check that out at dacshow.com. And then you can also find Eric at the Impressions Expo Fort Worth teaching specialty threads, design, digitizing, and marketing. And he will also be appearing on the Elements of Excellence embroidery panel. So got all that, man. You guys are busy. We are busy. It's awesome to be busy again, right? In the live world.
Exactly.
All right, Terry. Well, it's been a fantastic show. Thanks very much to Ray. So excited for the Apparel Zone at Printing United. Make sure you go to printingunited.com to get registered and show up there in Orlando, October 6th through the 8th. Come say hello to Terry and I. And we also thank Eric for jumping in and saving me in my internet troubles. And appreciate you keeping it rolling, Terry. So great show today.
Absolutely. We want to especially thank show producer Eric Campbell for everything he does behind the scenes and for taking a break from his country band practice, Big and E-Rich. That's right. He's grown it. If you could only see his face, everyone.
Wow.
That just came to me, Eric.
So apparently we will now be looking for a new show producer because I think Eric just quit. I'm kidding. All right. Well, excellent. Thank you guys so much. Next week, Terry, we've got Katie Wubin from Trouble Me Not Embroidery joining us to talk about changes to your business. She's really undergone a lot of changes in her business through COVID, like dove in feet first into bringing on more products and supplies and selling equipment and then doing lots of training. In fact, she is the one who trained me how to embroider. So my 15 minutes of experience comes directly from Katie. That's why I'm so good at it. So we want to talk to her about, what led her to make those decisions. What were the challenges? What could she wish that she could do over, and how she's managed it all. If you look at her at the trade shows, it's successful, and I know she's doing really well. So we're going to try to pick her brain on how we can manage a challenging landscape, right? I mean, as things go right now, Terry, we never know, right? You have to reach out to the trade show people. Is this going to happen? How's it going? So anyhow, lots of changes. So we're excited to bring Katie on, and always great to talk to her. So looking forward to that next week, Terry.
Fantastic. Until then, I'm Terry Combs. He's Aaron Montgomery.
We are the Two Regular Guys.
Here we go. We're out. Awesome.
Thank you for listening to Two Regular Guys. Check out our website at tworegularguys.com. That's the number 2, regularguys.com. You can also interact with us over at our Facebook page, facebook.com/tworegularguys, or send us a tweet, twitter.com/tworegularguys. And we have a YouTube page. You can find all that from our website, tworegularguys.com. Thanks for tuning in, and we look forward to spending some time with you again next week.